Okay, so let me just say one more thing that I keep like seeing that apparently they say that aliens are demons. No, they're not. If you guys read a Bible, well, I'm Catholic. In my Catholic Bible, it states exactly how many days it took for God to create this world. Exactly how many days and how special beings were here before us. Now, the fallen angels were given a they were look, if you Google, if you look up in there's a lot of ways you can get free information. I learned this from TikTok, and I obviously have read the Bible. Not completely, but I have read most of it. Okay, I know a lot of people don't really read the Bible, and you mix up things that you just hear. Like these people get easily manipulated and brainwashed. So, aliens are not demons. Aliens obviously came here, were created before any of us were created. Okay? And obviously, what happened with that whole Adam and Eve thing? What happened? The whole story. What was about it? What was it about it? Adam and Eve got put in a garden. And the instructions were to not what? To not eat from the fruit. To not eat from the fruit of the tree that was in the garden, right? So then what happened really? They say that that's why the men have a Adam's apple, and that apparently another thing is that apparently Adam and Eve obviously had sex, and that's why they got in trouble. So then when you are being told something, do not touch things, do not eat from it, you get cursed, right? So then they did not follow and obey God's rules. We don't really know what really happens. We just hear what we needed to hear and know, and it's in the Bible. That's all we know, that they got in trouble, right? So then, from the first times that apparently fallen angels were put in hell was because they did not obey God's rules. There's a lot of people saying that fallen angels are demons. No, they're not. Okay, do your research. No, they're not. Just how aliens are not demonic. They say that I'm a demon. No, I'm not. If we were demonic, why would we be hearing God? And just because there's so much proof in the Bible. You just have to find your own gift. There's so many gifts God has for anyone. You just have to open up your heart and mind and accept whatever gift God has given you. Everyone could be a psychic. Everyone could have an discernment of something. It's a special gift. You are all made for cool things. Like, there's very smart people. There's very, people that help. For everyone, like, you know what I mean? Like, everyone was meant for different things, and you guys just have to accept that some people were not meant to have special gifts. And especially if you don't believe in God, why would God give you special gifts? So you people literally have mixed the two things from demonic and godly in a very wrong way, because demonic people obviously were, I don't even want to get into that because we don't want to repeat his name or whatever satanic thing, like, like, do not be mixing it with good things, because it's proof. There's proof in the Bible, in the Word of God, that everyone could have a possible gift that God gives you. And you guys are mixing fallen angels as demons, but the reality of it is that fallen angels got did not obey God's rules. So what they're saying from the times before was that obviously they came down to help the first humans that existed on earth, and obviously God gave them the opportunity to come down to teach. It could have been all of our ancestors, back then. We have a lot of ancestry from years ago, and those ancestors could have been taught by fallen angels, because they're now called fallen angels, right? How to ride, how to, like there was different things that they were told to come and teach humans. What happened was that they fell in love with humans. That's where spiritual beings come from. That's where spiritual beings come from. Because they obviously have they were told not to. They were told not to fall in love with these humans. And they just got so attached in love, and they just ended up having sex, and God did not give them a permission to. So that's why they had to go to hell, because that was not part of the rules they had to obey. God told them just to come down to teach whatever they had to teach these humans, so that what's it called? So like for the future of the well-being of them, right? So then these fallen angels, because they fell in love with humans and should have never, that's why those special beings could not exist on earth, because these angels obviously are very, very different. They're not humanly fit. We all are different, okay? Aliens have a different body and structure. Fallen angels have different body and structure. They could be really tall. Like they were kind of saying like Nephilim blood. Obviously, like we don't really know how long. Like we just came into Earth, and then we had to exist in this world just humans. Okay? Back then, we just know that apparently dinosaurs existed. We didn't know really about how long other creatures here were put to live. So then when they finally created human beings, there's none of that here to exist. That doesn't mean that they were evil or they were demonic. They did not follow God's rules. Those angels did not follow God's rules, and that's why they went to hell. They were not allowed to have any type of creation, and that is why they are in hell, because they got in trouble. They say it's because of, the Satan, but we don't know. We know that it led into temptation, and they sinned. And like I said, they were not allowed to create human beings, special beings together. They were not allowed to. And just how like back then, the aliens were also here before, they were allowed a certain time, I guess, because we don't know what really happened before us. And it's in the Bible. Special beings do exist, and they existed before humans. And these special beings do not exist here anymore. Okay, special beings that are reincarnated are called starseeds. Starseeds. That doesn't mean that we're demonic. We have to follow God, and we need to obey Him as well. Because just like any other special being, we would get in trouble. So that being said, it's called there's free resources. And do not be calling aliens demons, and do not be calling angels demonic.